need to come back to the activist community, to the conscious Pan-African community, about how do we empower ourselves? How do we survive in this environment? How do we deal with acquiring political power and community control of those institutions that affect our lives? Now, first of all, I want to say, the Community Review Board process is a sham. It's always been a sham. It was created by the police department and specifically by the police union to divert the African American community away from true empowerment and control over the police. In 1968, the Black Panther Party organized national committees to combat fascism across the United States. It was a coalition with organizations and groups across the country. Now we know in 1968 there were riots, rebellions every month, every summer, right? There were rebellions across the country. These rebellions is what led to the creation of what we call today the militarized police, the SWAT team. We have to understand first and foremost, when we talk about policing the police and controlling the police, their job is to brutalize. That's their job. Their job is to control us. That's their job. And they have a union to protect them. And that union has more political clout than everybody in this room and everybody on the police review board. The review board has always been a mechanism to divert the rage and organization of black people away from controlling the command and control structure of the police. So, having said that, we need to understand, if we talk about community review board, we might as well leave the room. Because you're not going to have no power. You're not going to have no influence. Look who puts the board.
Me.
Okay? The only way the police is going to respect you in your community is that's if they live in your community. If you have a residency clause in your community.
That's right.
The only way the police are going to control, or you are able to control the police, is to decentralize the police. Is to take control of their command and control structure politically so that they're accountable to you. You don't need a goddamn police chief in Atlanta. What you need is policing community districts where people in the community elect their district members to determine how public safety is administered in our community. Police need at least a 2 or 3 year probation residency clause in our community. You can believe if a cop lives on your block, he's not going to brutalize your son if you get accountable by him. Don't go for this crap about community review boards. They're co-optation. And I got the documentation to show it. The police union in New York, when we put the idea of community control, decentralization of police, decentralization of public safety, it wasn't just police. It was emergency service. It was the fire department. It was those agencies that relate to your public safety and your security. When we put this on a ballot, we put it on a referendum in New York City. The FBI put out a memorandum. I didn't bring the memo with us, but I just wanted to know. The FBI put out a memorandum and said if this referendum goes through, it's the end of our control over the police. We can't let it go through. And so what the police unions did then is what they do now. They protect the interests of white supremacy and institutional policing in America. We have to understand the history of policing in America. Let's not lose sight of this. Every rebellion in the 1960s and 70s was a result of police murder and brutality of black people.
That's right.
So it's nothing new that they organized a police review board after they killed a grandmother in a house. The community was outraged. The community wanted results. So what's the best way to get the result? Get the Negroes over here, up in Atlanta, sit them down together and say, boss, how do we control these niggas? Well, let's give them a review board. Let's say we can bring these cops to accountability. How do we do that? Well, I'll appoint 3, you'll appoint 3, the mayor will appoint 2, and the union, they just lay in the background and keep the Willy Bobo to let us know when to do what. What happened to the cops that killed them at that boy in Ferguson? Who stopped them that investigation? Who held up his identity? The police union. The police union. The police union has a Bill of Rights. Hey, the Bill of Rights isn't sufficient for the police, the armed agents of the state. So they have their own Bill of Rights. And their own Bill of Rights says that when they murder your ass, they don't have to answer questions for 72 hours. When they do something to you, they have the protection. It's the union that brings you. Don't go for this crap about reviewing these crackers. Take control of this institution. And you can do it with votes. Now, what are we talking about here? Over 5% of the black vote in the black community is lost to convicted felons. To our brothers and sisters who are in prison. Don't act like you don't know about prison. What did Malcolm say? We want an American born in prison.
That's right. That's right.
Our brothers and sisters, our children are in prison. million. The largest prison population on the planet. There are over 30 million people in the United States under some form of probation, parole, or supervision.
Talk about it now.
This is a voter constituency.
That's right. That's right.
These are people who have a direct reason and a subjective reason to change the face of prosecutions and law enforcement in America. Brothers and sisters, white supremacy resides in the institutions of law.
That's right.
Don't get played out of position.
That's right. Tell it.
We have activist lawyers who are on the front lines in the courtroom. Some of them may be sitting right here with you. That's their job, to confront these people according to their laws and in that institution. But don't think you're going to get justice out of a goddamn courtroom and you have no political power.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's political power that makes us survive. So how do we organize political power? How do we take control of the police? We take control of the police by using and mobilizing our resources. If 5% of the votes in Atlanta and Georgia is lost to felons, register felons on independent vote. Register felons on why don't we have an abolitionist movement instead of a goddamn reform movement? What do we reform? White supremacy? We trying to make it go on until the year 30,000? We want to be eternal niggas and slaves in America? What are we reforming here? Huh? How many times do we have to revisit voter registration? How many times do we have to revisit this? How many times do we have to talk about inferior schools? How many times?
That's
do we
right.
have these conversations? Huh? You know what Shine said on the Titanic? Get in the water and swim like me. Take your ass off the lifeboat and get in the water and swim. We have to take control of those institutions. Let's start with Popo.
Yes. Yes.
If the referendum in this city, if we got lawyers that are progressive, we need a lawyers committee to determine how do we put on the electoral ballot? How do we put on the vote decentralization of police in Atlanta? That should be your task. And you see where all these Negroes stand. See where all of these Negroes stand when you start talking about mobilizing the vote to take down a racist institution rather than reinforce it. Watch what they say. Oh, you can't do that here. Oh, we can't do that here. Huh? When a prosecutor refuses to indict a cop, what do? You call for a special investigator. You call for some people from Washington and the Justice Department. They're going to give you justice, right?
Right.
And they'll come down here and they're going to give you justice.
Talk about it.
Where you going to get justice from? You ain't got no power. Nobody fears your ass. Especially the city council that put those people on the review board. You know they ain't scared of you. And every year they act like you got amnesia, the Alzheimer's disease, and come back and get your vote. You vote for them. There's no independent political movement in this country because of the black stakeholders in this society. And the black stakeholders are the ones that's down with institutional review boards. Stakeholders.
Come on.
Comprador class.
Yeah.
Back in the days, we used to call them Uncle Toms. They ain't Uncle Toms no more. They stakeholders. They have a stake in this system.
Yes.
Their prestige, their paycheck, and everything derives from this system. When Ferguson jumped off, it was the black kids in the streets that kept that issue alive. Not them niggas sitting up in the church singing, we shall overcome.
Come on. Yes.
And the minute that the cameras came, now the issue is militarized police. How long have we been talking about this? Since 1968.
Right.
Now it's an issue. And who comes out to determine how the debate goes? The black stakeholder class. We need more trained police. We need more black folks on the police force. We need more sensitivity and community related bullshit. Excuse my name.
That's okay.
Bullshit. What you need is to run the crackers out of your neighborhood. That's what you need to do. That's what you need. You need to go to your clergy and ask your clergy and ask your preacher. Ask to say, look, what are we going to do if the lights go off tomorrow? What are we going to do if we don't get no more water in here tomorrow? What are we going to do if they turn this off? We can talk about black capitalism all we want. I ain't stopping. We can talk about black capitalism all we want. But understand this. Understand this. Black capitalism is the system under which you are oppressed. So let's talk about independent political organization. And no reforms. If y'all want to talk about reforms, I'm out of here.
Thank you. very important, and we do need to pay attention to all the different things that he had to say. And we want to just remind everyone that we want to be discussing strategies that the community can get involved in. Everyone's going to have to sign up for something before they leave here. So at the end of this, all the panelists will say, we'll have a minute to give their recommendation for what the community will have to actually sign up for. What are the strategies? What do you have to do? List the websites, list the organizations that everyone needs to go ahead and join, participate in a particular action in. All right? So just to remind everybody. So, brother, you come up. Yeah.
How y'all doing?
All right, brother.
Alright, I want to say this. Oh, my man, start. Let me finish over this. I just want to say this right here, y'all. It is getting late in the evening, like a preacher used to say, right? First of all, I want to start off by saying, I think that, for the record, we appreciate all the speakers that's here tonight because of the fact that everyone came up out their homes to discuss what it is that we can do as a community. Is that right? So we have on one side, we may have one group of folks that feel this way and another group of folks that feel that way. Now, there's only a few things that have actually worked in this country. I want to, this brother right here, man, I want to say, give him a round of applause. This man served 19 years on the second bid on false charges. The FBI set him up, the COINTELPRO papers, right? This man right here is the co-founder of the Black Liberation Army. You understand what I'm saying? A former New York Black Panther leader that put his life on the line and continue to put his life on the line for 7 decades. But this brother right here, he's one of our elder advisors. And I respect him because of the fact that before I ever met him, he's one of the brothers that we studied as youth. Okay? Now what does that mean? Am I saying that everyone should bow down to him? No, I'm not saying that at all.
Yes.
I'm saying that right now, in this day and age, we have to be practical.
Yes.
Right? We gotta provide practical solutions because ain't none of this shit worked before. We clear on that. Okay? Nobody's gonna save us but us, in the words of Harriet Tubman. Right? Harriet Tubman pulled a gun out and she made him run. Right? There was no discussion. There was no scheming. There was no planning. There was no dreaming. There was no hope in the sky. There was none of that. Nat Turner, the preacher, the minister, he still up them things when it was time to get down. Right? The preacher used to say it's getting late in the evening. And we clear on that. We're acting like right now, this is the first time they start murdering us in the streets.
That's right.
They've been murdering us in the streets for over 500 years.
That's right.
Over 500 years. 1914, 2014, 1814, 1714, 1614, and 1514. Some of y'all act like it's a new process, right? Like, cause YouTube just started putting it on the videos and they start tweeting it in Facebook and we think that it just got started, right? It's a new day and age on the plantation. What are we gonna do? My brother Sunjata said we need solutions. We need practical solutions. One of the things we're putting together right now is a survival and preparedness network.
Boom.
Okay? Because of the fact that we already know that it's inevitable that they're gonna murder more of us in the streets. Right? We keep running around talking about the police fear us as if we somebody to fear.
Come on.
Ain't nobody scared of us.
That's right.
Ain't no damn body scared of us but us.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody's scared of us but us. Police ain't scared of us. Don't even believe that lie. Because if they scared of us, they wouldn't come into our community and murder us like we didn't even exist.
That's right.
If they were scared of us, they wouldn't do us the way they do us. They would come a mile and a half away from here and gun a 92-year-old woman down. And nobody did nothing. There was a black mayor in office. There was a black police chief in office. And we still got our black behind served to us. 92 years old. She lived to be a right old age. In Tennessee, Mississippi, brother 107 years old was gunned down on his own lawn. And some of y'all get mad when we get mad. I'm mad that you ain't mad. Some of us get upset when we talk too rough. Listen, man, this is the deal right here. When you come in the lion's den, it's lions up in here. Okay? When you come in the lion's den, you might get bit. You might get scratched. This ain't the zoo. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Ringling's Barnum and Bailey Circus. When you come up in there, we're gonna dance and do all that. These lions is wild, Jack. Because we talking about Africa. When we talking about Africa, ain't no tamed animals out there. Right? Am I right or am I wrong? We at war. They at war with us.
That's right.
So we gotta respond like we at war with them. Right? But we don't like that because of the fact that, hey man, we should all get along. Damn that, we ain't all gonna get along. The only time we're gonna get along is up in the club somewhere. And half the time we didn't get along up in there. They say 13% of the prison population, 13% of the population in America, and we over 67% of the prison population. That math don't even work in special ed. That math don't work nowhere. What are we gonna do? We're building a survival program. What is a survival program? We're going to get practical. We're going to build communication services. You understand what I'm saying? So when they shut down the phone lines, when they shut down the cell phone towers like they often do, we can still communicate. Right? What are we going to do about the youth getting beat down? We're starting a program right now called the Siafu Youth Corps, which is an African Boys and Girl Scouts program that's training our young brothers and sisters from ages 13 to 19 how to deal with this country. Not with this system, not with these police, because, yo, listen, man, you can put your hand on the dash, you can put your hands up and say don't shoot. None of that matters here in America. You understand what I'm saying? Like my brother said a few minutes ago, they still will kill you. But at least, as Malcolm says, we always preaching about Malcolm, we always yelling at, yeah, Brother Malcolm said this and Brother Malcolm said that. He said every black man and woman, every African man and woman should learn a martial art. That's how you train. Okay? Your children. We have these gun clubs that exist. That white people are a part of. White militias are a part of. When we talk about starting a gun club, everybody talking about them niggas crazy. They going to jail. That's terrorism. You go on YouTube right now, you see 7-year-old white girls busting guns, target practice. True. Right? But what we doing? We teaching our children how to play guns on the video games. They those gun games. Black Ops. They Black Ops on video. When these black cops killing us in the street, we playing Black Ops. You understand what I'm saying? You got all these different types of militarized police forces in our community. And we're still sitting back having lectures, having panels. Listen, how many of y'all are serious about our survival out here? I gotta ask. Some of y'all ain't raised your hand. At least you being honest. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Listen. Our organization, the FTP movement, we also put together a Siafu Siafu Warrior Cadets, which is taking care of the children, the young adults, age 20 to 26, because of the fact that all of these numbers I'm naming, these are the main folks that are being targeted, right? Now, we're in the west end of Atlanta. I see a couple brothers out here that I saw in the streets, but a lot of us aren't hitting the streets. A lot of us are the same old folks that we're seeing at these meetings. Over and over. Now, I'm not trying to diss the meetings or whatever. I think it's important that we continue to come, but we got to go out into the community where the people are, right? We don't need to hear this over and over and over and over and over and over again. Get some damn flyers and go to the hood. Those are the people that's being gunned down in the hood, right? It's rare that they killing somebody from the conscious community unless they know that they from the conscious community. You understand what I'm saying? They're killing the brothers and sisters in the streets. These same brothers and sisters who many of you get on WAOK yelling about. The problem is they walk around their pants hanging down. Tell it. I'm sorry, I don't want to criticize y'all for the BS that we do, right? Listen, snatch some of these youth up before the police snatch them up. You understand what I'm saying? We have to train our folks. We don't. When the next time there's a Katrina, we can't rely on the Red Cross, right? We talked about that. Baba Kima know that back in 07, 06, 05. It's 2014. It's damn near 10 years later. And we're still talking about what we need to do. We're not talking about what we need to do. We're doing it. So if anybody's interested in getting down what we're talking about, the brother Dhoruba and I, myself, Marcus Coleman, and a number of other folks, we're putting our money where our mouth is. You understand what I'm saying? Again, talk is dead, man. We all can rap. That's why we're the greatest rappers on the planet. You understand what I'm saying? Let's get the toes tapping. Let's see who really want to go out there. We all can yell black power in a crowded room. You know what I'm saying? We all could go collect some money with some dusty black uniforms out on what street you on Route David somewhere. We could all do that. We can say that the reason they're killing us is because we don't buy black. Indeed, we must buy black because of the fact, as the sister Fia said, we have to support our people. We gotta support our community. But we gotta do more than we gotta buy black. We gotta be black. We gotta act black. We gotta train black. And we gotta react black. You understand what I'm saying? We gotta be prepared black. You understand what I'm saying? Some of you don't like that because it requires work. It's a lot easier to sit in your tail and just talk about what we need. Now, we're declaring here today that we have some active programs that you can get down with. You can say, well, I don't like these guys because they talk rough. The police, they don't talk rough, they just whoop your ass rough. So perhaps you might want to just deal with them, or you can deal with some rough talking folks. The choice is yours. All I know is that we have babies, right? And if our ancestors were as lazy and disrespectful as we are here today, then we wouldn't even be here today. We would be extinct because of the fact that half of us, if we were in charge of liberating our people, man, we'd be in shadows forever. We'd have more chains than Lil Wayne. We in bad shape, man. And we gotta understand, listen, the police don't care nothing about you or me. Right? They don't care nothing about it. As the brother talking about these police unions. The police unions are the biggest gangs out this piece. The mafia ain't got nothing on them, they are the mafia.
That's right.
Now, what are we gonna do next? Either we're gonna roll with it or we're gonna get rolled on. That's all I'm having to say. My brother spent a lot of time on this. We'll get to everything else in a minute.